Now, if you're listening to the show this week and you're thinking, wow, the chemistry that these three people have and have had over the years is at a new level, it's because we spent the entire week together. Dame and Kristen, welcome.
Hey.
Yeah.
Kristen and I wearing the new swag. Dame wearing the new swag. It was reunion here at Your Money Line, so we all got to hang out with all 30-something of our friends. Kristen, highlight of reunion food-wise. We're only doing the food tour today. Best food at reunion.
You guys, those appetizer potatoes from dinner last night were probably the best potatoes I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Wow.
Did you guys have them?
I did. You know, I love a potato, as you can see by my girthy figure. I thought they were better than okay, but I was like, I don't know. I was in a weird mood. The wings from Birdie's for me were elite.
I didn't have them.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Dame?
I kind of like the kolaches, got to be honest. I love the concept in and of itself, and the pastry, the dough part was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good experience.
Good morning to my brother in Ruck Swink. Big Ruck Swink. Well, Rick, have you ever called yourself Ruck Swink?
Yes, now.
I got to know. Dame says that this show is influencing that people are rucking now.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Show you, Pete. You're an influencer.
No. It takes a village. Good morning, Jason, Chris, Denny, which is 2 first names, Rochelle, Andy, Dan, and Cheryl. Hello, everybody. All right, so Dame and Chris and I really have spent the entire week together at our all-company annual meeting. It was a lot of fun, but I have to admit, we are all exhausted. So what you get out of us today is what you get. And you can't throw a fit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I've talked for 2 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dan, we apparently have some topics today.
I put them in the Slack channel. You see them there?
You know what? I'm just gonna raw dog it. Just gonna raw dog it.
Well, that's
Shocking.
all right.
Look at this. I'm out there naming people. Can I run a new nickname by you guys?
For who?
Alicia?
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't have one yet?
Well, I mean, I just met her this week. Last name's Lawrence, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about Allie Larry? Do you like Allie Larry?
No.
I don't get it.
Alicia, you shorten it to Allie, and her last name's Lawrence, you shorten it to Larry, and it's Allie Larry.
Mm.
You're not your best.
I love it.
Well, that doesn't mean
but not enough to bring it up to her face.
She watches this show too. She's gonna love this.
Oh. Okay. Do we just start?
I suppose.
Dane, what's first? Just give me like 3 words of the first topic, and I'll bring it up, and we'll see what happens.
Planned arguing financial products.
Oh, between us, the planned arguing is
up
three
to
of us.
3 of us. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna argue.
Yeah, some of them we will have pretty much universal agreement on. Others might be a little more, as I said, argumentative.
The beat just hit me. I think it was the caffeine from this morning.
All right,
It's a delayed.
better late than never.
I was went in my daughter's room this morning to say goodbye to her. And she's like, "I'll see you at my game tonight," and I was like,
Oh,
yes, there's that. I'm very looking forward to very much am looking forward to their game in the Friday evening after a very long week. And I love you. I was like,
because I drive by.
So anyway, here's the thing, though. They're playing Ben Davis, so they're going to get splammered.
oh, big bummer.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1. This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your money questions. Here's how the show works. You email us, askpete at PeteThePlanner.com. That's askpete at PeteThePlanner.com. And you can either send us emails or legal notices. Either are accepted and some are even opened. Kristen Elanius joins us sometimes, and she happens to be here today. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Pete.
Dame Done. It's shortened to save time. It's for Damien, but when you go on to explain it, that time is double lost. Hello, Dame.
Hello, Pete.
Dame, there are financial products out there that people have different opinions on. Now, that's not fresh and that's not breaking news, but that is the truth. And even the three of us who share a lot of thoughts as it relates to people's financial lives, we actually disagree on financial products from time to time. And some of us are right, and some of us just have a different opinion than the person that happens to be right. So it's in that spirit, Dame, that I would like to dip our toes into the water of financial products that the three of us actually see differently. Oh, where shall we begin?
Well, I mean, that's not entirely true. There are some, just to get things started, a little juice flowing, that we will find some great agreement on. For example, the first one, financial products you should have. High yield savings account.
Yeah.
And,
What? This is just
wow, that is not how I expected this to go.
I know, because you really thought you were lobbing that one up. But you guys, I guess I don't know that I disagree, but I think collectively we place too much emphasis on it. I don't think it's that big of a deal
Kristen,
for most people.
tell me why you are against earning more interest.
I don't want people to have more money, I think is what you're trying to get me to say.
so Dame is in theory right, but there's a idea. Let's say you've got $300,000 in a high yield savings account.
Right.
You've got $300,000 in a high yield savings account.
Thank you. And if you had that exact same savings account and just a passbook savings at your bank, you're getting substantially less dollars. I mean, like truly objectively, that's a lot less dollars. Whereas if you have $3,000 in a high yield savings account and it's still the same percentage difference, but it just feels a lot less significant. So that's where, Kristen, I'm going to kind of agree with you, is that on principle, yeah, Dame is right. But in practicality, maybe not. Are you disagreeing with me, disagreeing with you, or agreeing with you?
Like I still think I'm going to push the envelope a little bit further on me saying that I think that you're wrong, which is, why does a regular person have that much money in a high yield savings account? Because the argument you just made is you could be earning more. And if someone's risk tolerance and time horizon support it, they shouldn't be putting that money in a high yield savings account anyway. For most people, it's your emergency fund. And does your emergency fund really need to earn 4% interest over 1%? And should that stress you out? I think the answer is it's not that big of a deal.
So, Dan, we very clearly covered the things we agree with each other on. So let's move on to where we might see things differently.
Here's another one that I thought was going to be a shoe-in. Let's see where it goes. A Roth something or other, whether it's an IRA, 401k, 403b, whatever, something in a Roth qualification.
You know, since I watched Funhouse for the first time as a kid with host JD Roth, I thought, I like all things Roth. I even like Ross from Friends when I have a lisp. Roth. And when it comes to financial products, Dame, are you laughing at me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I wish you could do it audibly. Kristen, Roths are great. Do you disagree? Of course.
I don't disagree. I agree with this one. Dame, I'll give you, there's your shoe in. I agree with the Roth.
Well, I mean, do you really need a Roth?
Oh, come on. Now you're just doing that.
No, because I mean, to make the decision to invest money into a Roth account means you're making some assumptions about your future financial situation, as well as the future situation of tax brackets and where you're going to fall, all that stuff. It may not be as advantageous for everybody as we'd like to believe.
What has this show turned into?
Fun.
Why do you want to give the government more money in taxes? I thought that was like the
Dame, this is an interesting point.
On.
Give more money to the government. What are you talking about? If I am making $100,000 a year right now, but I think I'm only going to make $50,000 a year in retirement through Social Security and income streams, why in the world would I want to pay taxes now when I'll be in a lower tax bracket in the future?
But
what? I'm sorry. Did she go on mute, Pete?
Kristen, can I help here just for a second?
All right, go ahead.
Dame, in regards to what the government does with the tax money we do pay them, how are they doing there?
Next category. A 15-year mortgage.
All day. You know what? All day.
Except for
There's no except. I'm just trying to like check the privilege, right? A little bit. I love a 15. In fact, I have a 10. But I love a 15. But 30 is unfortunately more realistic for most people. But I love a 15.
Kristen.
Oh boy.
I mean, to me, it's not the structure of the obligation, because if you get a 15-year mortgage at age 60 and a 15-year mortgage at 30, we're not talking about the same thing. Like if I bought my house when I was 28, a 15-year mortgage to me and a 15-year mortgage to like my parents is very different. I think the younger you are, the less I argue for the 15-year.
But I think it's about total interest paid. It's not about age.
But again, if you could be taking like those funds and putting them potentially somewhere else, like why do I need to be mortgage free at 45 years old?
Here's the weird part, and this may not even hold up because I'm really tired.
Yeah.
The caffeine is kicking in, but it's leading to me dancing and not actually thinking, which is very weird. And it also led to that amazing Ross from Friends joke. I don't think this is about your mortgage being gone necessarily. I think it's about not paying as much in interest, which is different. I feel like Dame agrees with me.
I do. This is working out so much better than I planned.
Why? Because the ones that we're supposed to agree on with each other, we're disagreeing on?
Everybody's disagreeing on something. It's wonderful. This is great radio.
All right. Speaking of disagreement, Dame, what's next?
Uh-oh.
Should have at least 2 different credit cards.
What is wrong with you? Why are you even on this show, Dame?
Wait, you disagree?
I don't know what
Yes.
you did. Okay, why?
Stupid.
Why?
Why?
Ooh.
Well, why don't you order 2 sandwiches from Jersey Mike's just so you got 2? Like, by the way, not a bad idea. Not terribly. I like sandwiches.
There goes our Jersey Mike sponsorship.
No, I love it. Okay, here's the thing, Chris. Can I call you Chris?
10.
Why would you do that? Like, give me a good reason why. Because there's just literally no reason why.
I don't have a good reason. Dame and Doug tried to lecture me about this a couple weeks ago, and
How's Doug involved?
because he agreed with Damien.
Oh, they were having a Ron Swanson off, where they were just the two of them going, "I carry knives, I'm tough," and now they're like, "And now we have twice the credit cards." Dame, okay, you give me the reason why in 30 seconds.
I experienced being on vacation and finding out that for some reason our credit card was not being approved because we didn't notify them that we were traveling at some point, and so we didn't have the ability to get things turned back on.
Kristen, all I'm hearing here is 2 things. Number 1, oh, I go on vacation, which is just a direct stab at me. Number 2, great. Call your credit card company and tell them you're on vacation, you lazy son. Hey, all right, here's what we're going to do. Damn, are there more of these?
Yeah, there are a couple more.
Okay, well, maybe we start the next segment there. I don't know. Here's what we'll do. We'll come back after the break. Everyone's going to calm down. I've just started into the name calling, so apparently I'm going to be a politician soon. And then we'll disagree more with you on air. It's great. I'm Pete the Planner. I mean, Dame, it wouldn't have killed you just to like call the 1-800 number on the back of the card and be like, "Oh, hey, there's
Hey, this
clearly a
doesn't
mistake."
work. This needs to work. Novel.
Just saying.
Can I tell you a story, or should I save it for the air? It's a credit card story. I'll tell you now. Back
Thanks for asking for our opinion.
This is 2000 and oh boy,
Yeah.
2002. Kristen, you were dead then, right?
I was among the living.
Okay. I was in the financial services industry. It was like my first or second. Yeah, no, actually, it's probably 2001. Probably first year in the business. Today, my business, and I won an awards trip in 2001 to Miami Beach.
Yeah.
You want to talk about someone who fits in real well in Miami Beach? This Ginge. And so I take Mrs. Planner, who looked 14 at the time, but was not. And we go to Miami Beach on this awards trip, and then there a rewards trip. No one knows. And so we're checking to the lobby of the Lowe's Hotel in Miami Beach, South Beach.
Lowe's?
Not the hardware store, Kristen. It's a chain of hotels. Very nice hotel. We check in, like all of these big hitters in the financial industry, the company I worked for, were like in the lobby, like mingling, drinking Mai Tais or whatever they're doing. What do you drink in Miami? What's the drink of South Beach?
I don't know.
Like a pina colada or something, I feel.
Sure. Tons of pineapples in Miami. So I'm checking in, and I give them my credit card, and they swipe it for the incidentals or whatever. Declined. And then the person says a little too loud, we can't actually check you in. And then there's like all of these people and a very nice guy who is either being incredibly passive aggressive or really nice. And I still haven't figured it out 21 years later or whatever. Comes up, is like, here, just put it on mine. And I was like, what? So Dame, to your point, all I did is picked up the phone and called my credit card company and told them I was traveling, and it was fixed in 3 minutes.
And that was 20 years ago. The technology's probably come a little bit further since then.
That seemed like a hit at Dame and I, actually, for our age.
At Dame, though, not you.
And if you want to walk around just with one available payment option, you go right ahead. But I'll take two. Thank you.
Well, three, because I'm sure you have cash.
Yeah, but do you know how many places you go that are cashless now? Almost any public event.
I hate that. I mean, I'm a
I
boom.
love that.
Okay, Kristen, can I let you into what it is to be a father? Your kid comes up to you in the stands, and they're 12-year-old connected, and you're like, Dad, go get a Gatorade. And it's like, sure. So you give them a $5 bill, and they come back like, they don't take cash. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hand this mongrel a debit card or credit card. No. So then I got to get up, which burns 3 times the amount of calories I had burned in the day already.
Mm-hmm.
And
I gotta help my kid.
And then if you do make the mistake of giving your kid the plastic, it's like all of their friends have this sense that as soon as one of them gets credit cards, they know that they can just go get a snack, and you just see the bleachers empty, and this wave of youth runs down and out to the concession stand, and you end up with hundreds of dollars of charges.
We actually got Ted a debit card, and a teen debit card or whatever, and he went to some game with his boys, and he comes back and he's like, no money left, and he was like, well, I bought Xander nachos and I bought Ben Dippin' Dots, and I'm like, Daddy, Warbucks,
yeah,
quit trying to buy friends, like do what I do and just like don't have friends.
My TD suffers from the same affliction. If he's got cash, he's spending it on everybody.
Done is German for generous. I don't know if you knew that, Kristen.
I think that feels made up.
Whatever. What do you know? Okay, let's go back to things we agree with for 1,000, Alex, in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show, finding love and harmony as we agree on financial products. Speaking of my co-hosts, one's nicknamed Love and the other one is Harmony. Harmony, give us the next financial product that we can disagree about.
I'm not sure if I'm Harmony or what.
Shh. Just keep the bit going. The people have had to pull over on the side of the road all over Indiana because they're driving in their cars, listening to their radios, and they are cry laughing.
Could be listening to the well, whatever. Anyway, next one. You should use a budgeting app or something to track your spending.
Chris?
Yes. I'm waiting. I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dame?
This is the first one we all agree with? This one?
Did you think we disagreed? Wait.
Yes.
We agree, but only because you guys aren't being truthers. Because do you not recall? Well, Pete doesn't recall. Last year, we had this conversation about how you don't give people financial advice that you don't follow. And I bet that you're not as in tune with your budgeting app as you tell other people to be. I just like have this hunch.
Are you saying this to me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'm working on it though.
Okay.
As we wrote our goals as a team yesterday, someone else on our team said that that's one of their goals, and it's one of my goals too.
Okay.
By the way, we got these new fleeces that I'm now removing from my carcass as we broadcast here because it's too warm.
Oh.
I feel like Luke Skywalker climbing out of a tauntaun on Hoth.
Wow.
All right, I got to take my ears out. Keep going.
Okay. Okay, so having a budgeting app though is not enough. Like I feel like we should take this to the next step, which is like you actually have to be doing something with it. That's the difference.
I mean, ideally, absolutely. Let's define what does doing something with it look like? Are we leaning into budgeting app, or are we also accepting like spending tracking?
I would accept both, but it's not enough to track your spending like maybe once a month and not do anything about it. Like visibility without then a plan or some other kind of action, to me, then I'm not sure, like, then you might as well just not check in on it.
Yeah, I have to admit, and I over the last 18 months, I've talked about this a lot on the show. There's aspects of my life that are just getting more expensive right now, and not necessarily because of inflation, but inflation obviously contributes to it. Just how our lifestyle's changing because the age of our kids is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just getting attuned to some of these categories of expenses. And so I don't have them naturally dialed in. So a spending alert, a budget alert is going to be really helpful. And so late last week, I think after the show, I went in and did we have a show last week?
I wasn't on it.
So it was a good one. And I actually set up some of those budget categories on the new expense category. So, Dame, what's next?
At least $1 million of life insurance if under 50.
Well, I know Kristen disagrees with this.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna get upset. And I actually disagree with it too, because it's just a bit broad. I think most people the average household income in the United States is like 84,000 or something now, something like that.
Average or median? Because I think median's like 78.
Okay.
Anyway, close.
Whatever.
Yeah. So if you go the 10X rule, that's not $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it was amended to 10x the household income?
Yes.
No.
Oh, Kristen.
Sorry. Not everyone needs life insurance.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so I guess my argument's dead already.
But the other thing about that is two things can be true, which is not everyone needs it, but also for the most part, we are collectively very underinsured. And that's why it's hard. It's a tough conversation to have. More people need to have life insurance. And it becomes this like everyone should have 10 times their income in life insurance. But that's just because so many people need it, but it is not for everyone.
Are there general types of situations where you feel, again, below retirement age? Let's make sure this is at least segmented to that. General groups of people who do not need life insurance, in your opinion, Kristen?
Me.
Don't you share finances with a significant other?
Not fully. And but that's my thing is he's not dependent on my income.
If I were him, I would be dependent on your income because you're really smart and you know a lot of things. like I would just hitch my wagon to that. Okay, yeah, you're right. Single people who don't have someone financially dependent on them.
Yeah.
And who have no debt. Or do you just let your debts go to your...
So she does, though. I mean, you could carry a bare minimum of life insurance to cover your debts and then leave that asset to a sibling or... Sorry, I mean...
Caitlin doesn't need it.
Or your boss's boss.
Yeah.
Sorry, Caitlin.
All right, Dave, do we have any more?
Yeah, I do. Oh, no, I don't. The other one was additional ideas. Sorry. No, I don't. Yeah. Additional ideas. Take them or leave them.
Should everyone who has a retirement plan at work participate in that retirement plan at work?
Yes.
Wow.
I not necessarily.
Oh, say more.
If there is no match that is included in the retirement plan, there may not be any advantage to participating in it if you can set up an automated retirement contribution or savings mechanism somewhere else.
Disagree.
Well, okay. Well, say more, because I'm seeing you shake your head. I agree with Bald.
Because it's the function of saving from your paycheck before your paycheck hits, that set it and forget it. The psychology there is stronger and more important because people, Dave, come on, people don't set up automatic contributions to IRAs like they would with like a 401k. You set it, you forget it. While I don't disagree that if you don't have a match, it's not as advantageous, I just think that it sets people up for more success.
You're banking on the auto enrollment feature of the 401k to get people to save. That wasn't the question, because you could easily have dollars sent from your paycheck, have your paycheck split and have a certain amount go to your checking account and a certain amount go towards a savings account or an investment account or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You still have it done automatically. Who cares about the final location?
No, it's not about the final location. It's about the fact that money never hits your bank account in the first place. It's just different in your brain.
I just said that.
You didn't say that.
I said
it's still going to hit your bank account.
Not if you have it sent to like a Schwab account.
Your employer's not going to. Okay, yeah, but it's still money that you can access by putting it directly. Your employer isn't going to put that money directly into a Roth IRA. You still have the opportunity to cease that.
Then you have the automatic contribution set up from that account.
People don't do that.
Correct. Most people don't because they don't have to, and there's no advantage to doing that. However, if you have a better opportunity to save into an account that is outside of your employer because there's no advantage to do it inside your employer, take the steps.
Pete.
Shiny, happy people holding hands. I just want you to know that I give one of these and you guys just start catfighting. Unbelievable. Okay, here's what. I'm with Dan. All right, so here's what we're going to. I need a shirt that just says, I'm with Dan. Yeah. Sorry, Chris, it's nothing personal. It's just we're old fellas. We're a different generation. Gen X.
Mm-hmm.
You went to the course this week. Coming up after the break, more of this on the Pete the Planner Show on Pete the Planner.
I actually don't feel that strongly about it at all, really.
I didn't think you did, but I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. I have a question. We are all planners on this here. Radio Praga.
2 of us certified.
Oh, that is so.
One of us in name only.
Why do people Slack me during the radio show? Have I not done this?
You turned it off.
I didn't. I never turn it off. I just expect our coworkers to not Slack me during the radio show. Okay. That's on me. We are all planners. Mm-hmm. But I want to know on a prepper spectrum, who is the biggest prepper? Because I view having 2 credit cards in your wallet as prepper adjacent. Like it's just beyond planning.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like a see, Dame's laughing. He's right.
I'm thinking about things that I may or may not have brought with me in my luggage. Like I had 2 pocket knives. I had 2 flashlights.
This is a bit much.
I had a Leatherman.
You brought 2 flashlights to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean prepper like not in our personal finances?
No, prepper isn't just like your a prepper lifestyle, like dried food or
oh, Damien.
Well, no, I know he's the furthest down the line. I think you and me, it would be an interesting.
What's
the prepperest thing you have that you're willing to talk about?
Dame?
No,
You
no,
have Dame?
I think it's between you two.
No, Dame, not Dame. I mean,
Yeah,
everyone knows Dame's got cash buried in his backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
You and me, Krista, what's the prepperest thing you've got?
Little to nothing. I prepare for the little things on the daily because anxiety, but like prepper, 0%.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I think I've got like a can of Cuban black beans from Trader Joe's.
Yeah, like I have like a can of chickpeas. That's like
Pete, I'm really surprised you haven't got into like food dehydrating and making your own jerky and stuff like that. That seems
I
like
can see
something
that.
that you would absolutely be into.
I could see that being on the horizon. I don't have an interest towards it, but it's adjacent to my interests.
Yeah, exactly.
Dame, I'm not going to ask you the same question because I'm not sure I want to know the answer.
You don't.
I mean, I do want to know the answer. I just don't want to know the answer on air.
Yeah. Yeah.
You brought 2 flashlights to Indianapolis.
I had the one that I had in my pocket at the office, and then I had a much stronger, more powerful one in my backpack.
So, Kristen, I want to ask you this question, see if you can answer it on his behalf.
okay.
We're meeting during the day at our headquarters,
Right.
encased by windows.
Right.
What in the solar eclipse is the purpose for a pocket flashlight at an office meeting?
Well, I'll have you know that on our hot girl walk, Dame did use his flashlight.
At what time was this?
By the way.
It was dark.
Mhm.
That's fair. And also
have
his iPhone would have sufficed.
So, if I may reframe this, Dame, you're out walking with young women at night when you're on the road, and
Not
you're
just-
shining in them from the back with a flashlight. Is that what I'm hearing? And then you're sending pictures of that to me?
Actually, to the whole company.
Okay.
Wasn't exclusive. Also, there were guys there too.
Yeah, that's not
You
just.
couldn't see him in the picture.
Yeah, we were back in the back. Wait, that didn't.
He's just taking pictures of women at night on a trail with a flashlight. Anyway,
I don't have a third segment, by the way.
I mean, we stretched that one to 2 and you don't have a third?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I do. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you do.
importance of maintaining an attitude of flexibility when pursuing financial goals.
Okay, actually, this is great. Kristen, you're going to take it in 3, 2, 1. Back on the Pete the Planner show. Crystal, when people pursue their financial goals and they are hardcore and they are going after it, but then life serves them something different or their circumstances change,
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to talk about how important it is to just take a breath and go, maybe I should back off that. Thoughts?
I mean, that sounds great in theory, Pete, but the problem is how do the type of person who's setting these types of goals is generally achievement oriented. So then how do you take an achiever and tell them, well, it's okay to pivot? It's a really hard conversation.
Yeah, Dame, for people who are goal oriented, which, if you're setting goals, generally you're goal oriented. How prudent is it to pivot when just life serves you something different? Are you not being, are you not recovering? Are you not staying focused? Like, what is the element of shifting off of that?
First, I want to say if you don't think you're goal oriented, how do you view retirement? Because I bet most people have a goal around retirement. They have a date or an age or whatever picked out. And frankly, this is when I have.
Welcome to your first week in the financial industry. What? You think most people have a retirement goal?
They do not. They just
That's
don't want to work.
absurd.
People don't have a goal as far as like age, date. They just
Are you
don't
people
want to be
serious?
employed.
No, are you serious? There's like, is this
How
the
many
argument?
you've talked to that have said like I'm retired? I've talked to half a dozen people in the last week that have said, you know what, my plan is to retire at 62.
Great.
Okay.
Good universe of 6 people calling for financial help.
Of the people who are calling to talk about retirement, that's a pretty darn high percentage.
But also,
I just stop. I am floored that you people, the two of you professional planners don't think that people have a date they are anchored to in their mind, an age of when
No
they
way.
want to retire.
It's
No
not.
way.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from with this, but I think that the cause is where we're disagreeing, because you're saying that people like have this date that they want to retire. I think it has nothing to do with that. I think it has to do with the fact that they don't want to work any longer than they have to. Not that people don't want to work any longer than they have to. And 62 for many is Social Security eligibility, or 65 is Medicare eligibility. It's not a function of like having a set goal for retirement. It's like, this is when I don't necessarily have to do this anymore. And I don't think that's the same.
Yeah, Dame, I agree with you on 98% of life. I just so fundamentally disagree with you on this.
Yeah, big time.
I am stunned right now.
Are you going to be able to sleep tonight?
Oh yeah, really well.
Yeah,
I try.
I'm exhausted, actually.
All right. So pivoting, let's give an example here. Let's say you got a 2-person household. You're saving aggressively for your kids' education. And for whatever reasons, one of those people loses their job. Now, that being said, the person who lost their job, their income was being saved anyway. That income was not needed to operate the household. It was meant to create more stability and security. Should the remaining income also tackle those savings goals by reducing the amount that the household spends? Because that's essentially what we're asking.
What is that? What we're asking?
That's what I'm asking.
I was coughing. Sorry.
This is going well.
This has turned out great.
Dame's so upset he can't even gather himself.
All right. So
Okay.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Dame, do you think people my age know when they want to retire?
Oh,
Are we back to this?
I can't let it go.
no. People your age? No, absolutely not. If you are over 50, the thought has crossed your mind.
Well, anyway.
Here's the thing, Dame. I actually don't have an age I want to retire.
Okay.
I mean, I don't.
I will concede that retirement looks a lot different for the vision of retirement looks a lot different today than it did probably even 15 years ago for most people. I've talked to a lot of folks who in more of Kristen's demographic that aren't sure they're ever going to retire, not because they don't think they'll save enough, because they can't imagine not doing something. But Kristen, you can disagree with my conversations that I've had with people too there if you'd like.
I just think they might be biased is all.
Okay. Well, I'll tell them that they don't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
If you're sharing finances with someone, can I get us back on track a little bit, you two?
You can try.
Your tickle fight. It will get 2 people that share finances, and if one of them wants to pivot away from a savings goal specifically or a debt pay down goal, like where's the line exist between finding prudence in that and the accountability of the other person providing to say, no, we committed to this, we got to keep going? Like, how do you balance that?
I'm sorry. I don't have a good answer for you. So I'm trying to think on the fly.
I'm sorry. I read a comment that just came in, and they said that they agree with Kristen, but they made my point.
We're at our best.
We are not talking about the right segment
This is
anymore.
right. And many people think they'll work until 62. They have an age picked out. They have an age.
You know what? I have to say, if we went, so we're a very financially centered and centric organization. If we were looking out in the audience yesterday to all of our coworkers, some of them financial experts, some of them marketing experts and sales folks and engineers, what percentage of that group of people that were here yesterday would have a retirement age?
None, but I bet if you talk to 2 of our speakers, they would.
I would say less than 5 people would have an age.
Yeah, I agree with you. Let's do this. I'm going to try to ask another question. You guys are very upset. It's from a lack of sleep. Dane was walking trails with flashlights, taking photos of people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's answer this question the best that you can.
Okay.
Is it prudent to take the pressure off of yourself financially based on goals when your circumstances change?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, entirely. I mean, I thought the one person specifically yesterday, as we were starting to wrap things up, about not realizing there were exigent circumstances that were going to make him achieving financial goals more difficult than he had planned on. Give yourself the grace and the freedom to take a step back off of some of these things and make sure that you're still doing the best you can, but realize that certain things are out of your control and you absolutely have to make changes in the middle of progress every once in a while.
Yeah, Kristen, to me with this, it has to do with at least knowing when you can get started again. You can turn off the faucets of savings and goal achievement, but you got to know, at least have an idea of when you're going to be able to turn it back on. An example of that would be you have a 4-year-old, you just need them to get to kindergarten, and then you've decreased your daycare expenses within 2 years, and then you can start cranking the savings again, right?
Yeah, I think it's what we're all getting to is it's a function of knowing where your next dollar goes and prioritization. Like if this pivot is going to keep you from achieving something that is very important to you, then you have then only you can decide if it's worth or that you need to do something differently to achieve that goal. But if you have a change, then okay, we have fewer dollars to assign to the next goal.
I think Kristen's nailed it right there. Is the key to being able to do this effectively is being familiar with your finances and knowing that, oh yeah, that popped up. I have to be able to account for that and change some things elsewhere.
So coming up after the break, here's what we're going to do. We do the biggest waste of money of the week, and yes, it's a doozy. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of news this week that we want to cover, including the jobs report that came out on Friday morning of October, I don't know, some call it the 4th. Which says that jobs were better than we thought in the month of September, and so much more. So, Dame, are you ready to cover this?
Sure.
Kristen, are you ready to guess very poorly on the biggest waste of money of the week?
I cannot wait.
All right, that's what we're doing next. If you ever want to email us and have your question read on the air and arguably answered poorly, ask Pete at PeteThePlanner.com. We'll be right back after this, right here on the Pete the Planner show. Because of all of the bickering, I decided to start my outro a minute before.
I think that's the most I've ever disagreed with Damien, to be honest.
He's getting mad.
Nope. It's not my fault that you're wrong. That's my problem.
Hey, easy. Let's not let the cat out of the bag here. You know what, Danza? Thanks for bringing this up. Danza brings up in the live stream. The world lost an icon this past week. Dikembe Mutombo passed away from brain cancer. The iconic NBA player from Georgetown University turned Geico pitchman, and who I vacationed with in the Bahamas. And so out of respect for his death, I will retell the greatest story of all time. My wife and I were in the Bahamas. And for some reason, the NBA's Players Association was holding their annual meeting at the same resort we were at in the Bahamas. So there's a ton of NBA. So the pool was me and Mrs. Planner and Ron Artest. That was the pool deck, tons of players. You walk through the casino of this resort. They're gambling their paychecks, of which they were trying to negotiate through the Players Association. But I'm not here to judge. Let's keep it going. We go to a restaurant, and one of the world's largest men, Dikembe Mutombo, is sitting there having dinner with his family. And one of the strangest parts about this is one of the little boys that was at the table with him, who is his son, I later watched play in a college basketball game just about a year ago, which is just wild to think about. So his kids at the time were probably 10, 11 years old, acting a fool because, Dame,
that's what you do.
That's what you do. And there was a basket of rolls, and his kids were just tearing them down. It's like they were at Charlie's or Texas Roadhouse. They were just crushing these rolls. And Dikembe was getting irritated by this. And so his son picks up a roll to eat it. And Dikembe Mutombo, the NBA leader all time in blocks, blocks the roll out of his hand like he's blocking a shot, and it gives him the signature finger wag And with his Cookie Monster voice, his iconic Cookie Monster voice, he goes, "No more rolls." And I'm sitting next to this watching it happen, and it was the best thing that has ever happened to me to this day. I've had 2 children, and by have had, I mean my wife did, and I was there. My back hurt. I wore the wrong shoes. That was the best moment of my life. May he rest in peace. Kristen, you're unimpressed with that story. Or are you just mad at Dame?
A little mad at Dame.
Okay.
Speaking of Dame, Dame brought this lovely bottle of Maker's Mark Private Selection whiskey. Don't mind. You brought this to me on Tuesday at our offices and has not left our offices. But we shared this with some friends.
Absolutely. Many friends.
Many friends. How many? 3?
Yeah, you guys.
You, me, and Doug.
All of our friends.
Dad wasn't even here. Dame was delicious. Thanks for bringing it.
Happy I did. Happy I waited to taste it for the first time with our friends.
Okay, are we ready to do the next thing? We are now. In 3, 2, 1. This week's biggest waste of money of the week right here on the Pete the Planner Show is the Caviar Custom Gold iPhone 16 Pro. Apple's latest flagships haven't even hit stores yet. That's not stopping Dubai-based Caviar from putting their luxe spin on the iPhone 16 Pro. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. Tons of custom offerings are available, including an art and gold collection that gives the 16 Pro and Pro Max backplates made from 18-karat yellow, white, or rose gold. A model that integrates a Rolex Daytona into the back joins them among the highlights, as does a diamond-encrusted model. And so, ladies and gentlemen, for a diamond-encrusted Caviar gold iPhone, I want you to tell me how much it costs.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Did you say that you could get a Rolex Daytona in the back of one of these things?
Based off, I think.
No, a model that integrates a Rolex Daytona into the back joins them among the highlights, as does a diamond-encrusted model. So the diamond-encrusted model is more expensive than the Rolex Daytona model. But I want you to tell me how much I can look up all the prices if you want, but I want to know how much the diamond-encrusted model costs.
Oh my word. I feel like this is going to be really bad. As a point of clarity, what we're seeing on the screen is gold. I'm confused about the diamond part.
Separate product, I believe.
So the separate one is I should have brought it up. But just guess. It's covered in diamonds.
All right. It's covered in diamonds. It's $15,000.
It's $125,000.
$572,000.
Oh my word! Why?
The Rolex Daytona one? I'm looking for that one. Here it is. $193,000 integrated solution.
Yeah, I'm really curious as to how they pull that off.
There we go. There's the diamond one.
Why do you need? Your phone is a clock.
Yeah, but it doesn't have a Daytona.
Well, Dame doesn't even use his as a flashlight. Dame, what's in the news this week?
Breaking news, as I was just told in our last segment, the jobs report just out today, this morning. Now, the U.S. economy added far more jobs than expected in September, Pete, pointing to a vital employment picture as the unemployment rate edged lower. The Labor Department reported Friday. I've never read this, so it's going to go great. Non-farm payroll surged by 254,000, not dollars, just 254,000 for the month, up from a revised 159,000 in August and better than the 150,000 Dow Jones consensus forecast. The unemployment rate fell to 4.1%, down 0.1 percentage points.
This news is just part of the natural release cycle of economic news. Like it's on schedule. Nothing's out of the ordinary. This is just how these things work and have worked for decades, if not more than that. However, Kristen and Dame, I have this firm belief, because I have a brain, that the next 30 days of announcements to support passort's not a word, to support either side of the political spectrum are going to be flying at us fast and furious over the next 30 days. Agree?
1,000,000%.
We actually agree on that. Yeah.
There's a lot I don't look forward to. What I don't look forward to probably the most right now is the next 30 days of the news cycle. It is going to be, in my opinion, unbearable.
One thing I've noticed is that there seems to be a significant decrease in the number of political ads on TV in my area. Are you? I mean, do you watch enough live TV to see if there are political ads?
No, I don't. So
I feel I don't watch any live TV unless it's sports. And then even I'm not even paying attention.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like it. I appreciate not being bombarded with
honestly
stuff like that. Anyway,
what else is in the news?
Pete, Kristen, we've talked about alternative paths to for kids to follow once they graduate high school and how they can integrate themselves into the workforce and the adult world. Well, the FAA announced 2 vocational programs to get more air traffic controllers. Some college grads can start yelling at pilots working in control towers without having to train at the FAA's academy in Oklahoma, the agency said this week. Graduates of a new vocational program offered at Tulsa Community College and the University of Oklahoma will be able to begin on-the-job training right after finishing school. The move is part of the FAA's effort to combat the employee shortage that has led to staff burnout and flight delays. Despite recent successes in ramping up hiring, the agency reported earlier this year that it's still short about 3,000 air traffic controllers. Pete, does on-the-job training seem like a great idea for air traffic controllers?
You know, I've been, every time we've been talking about different age groups on the show today, I'm thinking about the comments of Lindsay Picardo, who joined our team at our offices this week to talk about generations and how we work differently together. And so I'm trying to measure my response to your question with that, Dave.
Sure.
I've read that being an air traffic controller is one of the most stressful jobs on the planet.
Same.
And I think what it takes a person to be stressed, to be able to handle stress is a level of resiliency that is developed over time. Mm-hmm. So to have not only an inexperienced person do it, which is always the case, you're always inexperienced until you're experienced, but a young person who has not actually experienced adult stress makes me terribly nervous.
Yeah.
Is it maybe I feel like we need Pilot Jeremy. I thought that it was with air traffic control a long program and like it was very like if along the way you mess up, you're like done for good.
Oh, like one strike?
Like when I can't remember what the tests are called. I had a friend in college who was trying to do air traffic control. And I just remember I remember bits and pieces of that, which always makes for good recollection of a story. And I feel like if you mess up, you're like done. So why couldn't they just like adapt the program instead of going so like extreme?
Yeah, that's interesting. So like more leniency and tolerance for mistakes?
Right. Because like they're saying that there's a deficiency, but I definitely could be wrong. But I thought it was like because it's so stringent and they're just booting people out as they go.
It is one of those jobs that I think most people completely take for granted.
Yes.
Oh, right. Yeah. You're just like, you think about your pilot. That's about it. And then you don't think there's actually someone telling them where to go.
Yeah.
Dan, go ahead, please.
It seems like this specifically seems like one of those things, though. If it meant delays or a reduction of number of available flights that might even increase the cost of a plane ticket, I would still rather have a pretty much rock solid guarantee that there's not going to be a problem in an air traffic control tower, rather than maybe a 98% chance that everything is going to be okay. Maybe I'm out on a limb on this one.
You know what I got thinking this week with the dock workers strike that has now been suspended as of today or overnight? There are certain professions that are so wildly vital to safety and security and our economy, and the dock workers being one of them. And then I also you don't remember, but there was a air traffic control strike a few decades ago that just like shut down air travel. And so what makes me nervous about this story is not the people who aren't working in air traffic control. It's people who are working there and them understanding the shortage and being overworked and overstressed and understaffed. And like, at what point in time do they say, for the safety and security of everything, we're going to shut down the economy until someone figures this out?
Yeah, it could happen, but again, I think safety is paramount. So whatever it takes to make sure that everything is going smoothly is okay by me.
I just realized how dark that thought was. I'm very sorry. I was like, hey, we're having a great show. You know what can happen? No one will be able to fly again for months. All right. If you have a question that you want us to talk about because you don't like yourself, email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's it for this week. I'm sending you good vibes because good vibes are all that's in the budget. I'm Pete the Planner, and this is the Pete the Planner Show. Woo, that was something.
That was rough.
Hey, everyone listening in listening land. It has been a long week here at these headquarters, and I'm thankful for Dame went back to his home last night so he could do this broadcast. And Chris here woke up at the wee hours of the morning with no flashlights in our hotel room and was able to drive home to broadcast today. Me, myself, well, I'm here too. So, Kristen, Dame, thank you for your efforts.
Anytime.
You're welcome.
Do I have to put you guys in a get along shirt after the show? So you guys. All right, everyone's fine. We all love each other. All right, thanks everyone. Stay getting money.